Welcome to the Landscape Photography Vlogcast. Join me, Mr. Photo Ninja, and Mr. Paul Thompson Photography from YouTube. Every Sunday morning at 10 AM for everything photography related. And also look out for some special guests. Grab yourself a brew, beer, or something stronger, and let's get into this week's vlogcast.
Well, hello and welcome to the Landscape Photography Vlogcast, and with us this week is Matt Bishop. How are you doing, mate?
G'day, mate. How are you going, alright?
Yeah, not too bad at all. So what we usually do at this point is just get a bit of an insight as to who you are and how you started in photography.
God, how I started in photography? I started drawing pictures when I was a little kid and used to get picked on all the time. I should have been out there playing football. And it wasn't until I actually escaped Australia, I shouldn't say that because I love my home country, but it wasn't until I moved overseas when I was 21 years old that I just got blown away by the Swiss Alps. I spent about 3 months climbing in the Swiss Alps, and I just these mountains and the scenery was just incredible. Never seen anything like it in my whole life. And
yeah,
I knew then that I had to capture it on camera. So I went out and bought my first camera back then. That was 2002. Yeah, 2002.
Right, cool.
Never looked back since.
And what was the first camera then?
It was a Pentax. Yeah.
Right, cool. And you stuck with them ever since, eh?
Yeah, stuck with them ever since, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously at the minute we can't travel, we can't do anything, so how are you managing with it?
Oh, you know what, since the COVID started, what are we talking, at least in Italy, it sort of started off in March.
Yeah.
Since March, I've probably been out 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's a struggle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, very hard. I mean, I don't know if you know, I work in an operating theatre, and we've been pretty much under the pump, so it's been hard to actually even get holidays and get out and spend time out on field. In a normal everyday life, you get a few weeks holiday off and weekends and stuff, and you always make an excuse to get out. But travel restrictions are ridiculously tight over here. Yeah, and it makes it really, really hard to go anywhere. We're getting really good at shooting locally, aren't we, mate?
Yeah, tell me about it. It's every video I do at the minute, it's local shooting here and to shoot local there.
That's right. Yeah, there's only so many dams and woodlands you can shoot, isn't there?
Well, this is the problem, and until it becomes a bit samey, but you've just got to work with what you've got, really, haven't you?
Yeah,
that's all you can do. There's nothing else you can really do about it. And I suppose being exactly what you do for a living, you want that kind of release to get out as well, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty important. It is pretty important. It doesn't happen enough. But look, I've been sort of using this time. Well, it's almost been a year now. A year's a lot of time when you think.
It's a year of our lives just kind of gone.
Yeah, it's just gone like that, hasn't it? It has. Well, on a photographically speaking, but look, I've actually used it. On a positive note, I think I probably spent a lot more time looking back over, what I've done in the past, the images that I've taken.
Yeah.
Actually looking at other photographers, which is something I never did before. I just sort of kind of did my own thing, and, who came on the ride with me, that was great. And I didn't spend that much time looking at other photographers, and I have been. And,
that's kind of a double-edged sword, though, eh? It can be a double-edged sword. Because I suppose I've always looked at other photographers, and I kind of sometimes wish I hadn't.
Yeah.
It kind of can skew what you want to actually photograph yourself.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong, mate. There's some amazing photographers out there that I've, just people like, Joe Cornish or a close friend of mine, Enrico Fossati. There's photographers out that I very much appreciate their work and have for a very long time.
Yeah.
But spending more time on social media because you've got less, you're not out on field, so you've actually got more time to keep this thing in front of your face.
Yeah, scroll. It's
going out there. And to be honest with you, been good and bad looking at other people's photography, and I actually look back at mine and see a lot of the mistakes that I've made with many, many things, and I've reflected on it, and I've spent more time reading books and listening to podcasts and things like that. And I think it's actually been, for me on a personal level, it's been really good. It's like I've been stretching before I go to the gym. I just can't wait to go to the gym when that happens.
This is the thing. You're bursting with energy to get out there and get shooting again, eh?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, we're all in that sort of boat at the minute where all you can do is really plan your trips and plan what you want to go and shoot.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, what kind of places are you planning on going when you can actually get out?
Look, for now, I'm just actually hoping that I can... I live in Rome, so the region we live in is called Lazio, which is about 150 kilometers of diameter at the most. And we're actually not allowed to travel out of that area. Unfortunately, I'm quite restricted to, wilderness photography within this region.
That's pretty good, though. That's pretty good, though, compared to our 5 miles.
But there's many beautiful places close to Rome, which I've photographed the hell out of over the last 20 years. But, the typical Italy that you would sort of recognise as the Tuscan countryside or the Dolomites, it's neater photography. A lot of photography you can find around here, it's very messy bush. It's not clean. You can't simplify your images. You don't have a simple composition to make them a nice image. And so I do struggle. I do have a few locations I go to, but it's a very messy landscape, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's not as curated as the Lake District would be, or
overly manicured.
Tuscany. Yeah, very manicured landscape, So very, very limited. But I mean, I've got 10 days off work now, and I'm planning to go out every single day, I hope, and shoot as much as I can, because I've just had enough of they call it in Italian mental masturbating.
I can imagine, definitely.
Sorry, mate, because it's 9:40 at night, so I've had a bit to drink, and not much, but still. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I'll join you with that. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers.
So, thinking about it, then, what kind of subjects really draw you? What's your thing with landscape photography? What really draws you in?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, mate, for me, anything where I can feel I'm completely absorbed by wilderness and having a spectacular light, being in a moment where I've got that real light. I think if you've got light, you've got landscape.
Yeah.
And look, I haven't traveled that much around the world. I mean, outside of Australia, where I'm, born and bred, and Italy, I've traveled a little bit in Europe, but I haven't been to Iceland and places like that. I spend a lot of time in Patagonia, and Patagonian landscapes for me are they're incredible. I mean, I had workshops over there, and some of the places we go to, no one's ever been to before, and they're just amazing.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Awesome. It's not somewhere I've ever been, but it looks absolutely beautiful.
And it's just that sense of isolation, and you being there just amongst wilderness, and if you can be in that, in harmony with nature and get beautiful light, anything can come out. It's up to you to make a composition out of it, and that's what's beautiful about photography.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. See, we're going back to what we were saying before about the Lake District, because that's pretty much on my doorstep, and it's as we were saying, it's manicured landscape.
It is.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning, but I crave wilderness.
Yeah,
I crave definitely. That sort of feeling that you're describing there about being out in it, and there's no sign of man really. It's just pure. Well, wilderness.
I think in the UK you can only really get that in maybe Snowdonia and parts of Scotland.
Yeah,
there's parts of Scotland.
Much.
Yeah.
And in Italy, can't travel there at the minute. So again,
no. I mean, in Italy, we've just got sections of the Dolomites that are considered wilderness, but a lot of the places that you're going to go to now have just been oversaturated by photographers. Just incredible amounts of photographers that go to these destinations now. It's incredible, and just tourists in general, because they've seen photographers taking images of certain places. It's just it's nothing like it's what in the United States, but it's it's hard to get yourself immersed in wilderness when you've got 100 tripods on each side of you, isn't it?
Yeah, and you get that kind of guilt feeling as well. Am I creating this? Am I kind of adding to this problem? Well, I suppose we all do with being photographers. We all do kind of add to the problem, because it's social media magnets, aren't we? Really, it's people scroll through, see a beautiful place, and they want to visit it. So
that's for sure. Yep.
So with that in mind, how do you kind of handle that? How do you deal with that, or do you just put it to the back of your mind and not even think about it?
What's to the back of my mind? Sorry, mate. Exactly.
Basically, how do you deal with the thought of, are we adding to the problem of foot traffic on wilderness areas and what have you by being photographers?
Look, on a personal level, I don't generally tag where I've been, and if I do tag where I've been, it's probably because it's a place that everyone knows already anyway. So how do I feel about other photographers doing it? Yeah, it's not nice. I mean, there's evidence that some locations have been completely destroyed because of landscape photography. And I think the majority of them that I know of are in the United States. Iceland is very concerning because that's one place I won't go to. Not because I don't think it's beautiful, because there's just too many photographers there, mate, and I don't want to contribute to it's good to contribute to tourism, but for me to actually be immersed in wilderness, I don't actually feel I could leave my footprint there as a photographer.
Yeah, definitely. So the thing with that is, as well, is I'm part of a group called Nature First, and that's definitely about not leaving your kind of mark on the landscape, and very much about not kind of tagging your locations so that we don't have such an impact on the environment. So what I want to do is I'll leave a link in this video below to Nature First if you want to go and check it out. It's free to join, and it's just a community of photographers that want to really look after the wilderness.
That's great.
So Pentax then. Why Pentax?
You're the first person that's ever asked me that.
Am I?
No.
just interested, actually.
Yeah,
Why Pentax?
Of course. Why Pentax? I started taking... Also, the first camera I picked up was a Pentax, mate, and it was a beautiful camera. I mean, I was shooting back there with digital. I used to shoot with Fuji Valvia. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before. That was the film of choice back in those days. A beautiful, beautiful film. And I basically held off until, what was it, 2007? In 2007, the Pentax won the TIPA, the TIPA Awards, the German awards. They actually won it. Yeah, they won it for the best digital camera that year. It was called the Pentax K10.
Right.
And so, digital cameras had already been out for a few years. And then I saw that they won this award, and I thought, let me look into it a bit further. I looked into it, and I thought, you know what? I think it's time I stepped into digital, and I just happened to get the Pentax because it won the award. And since then, their interface hasn't changed. Their lens quality has still remained excellent, top of the line lens. They've always been historically famous for their lens quality. Yeah. And they've just developed slowly over the years. They've always been a very small company. They're not, they're not Nikon, they're not Canon, but they have a percentage of the market. They've always maintained, and I've just been used to the interface, and I've always just been so happy with the results I've got from using a Pentax camera. I've just stuck with them. And look, to be honest, over the last couple of years, the gear they're bringing out, there's the K1 behind me there, sitting up on the tripod. My second wife.
Shh, Keep your voice down.
That all right, she's putting the kids to sleep. She can't hear me. The door's closed. That camera behind the back of there, you'd be surprised what it can pull off. And I've been out on field with guys, and they've seen, you know, what comes out of that camera later on. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's just that they just don't market themselves enough, and I don't even know if they're even interested in having that percentage of the market. I mean, you know,
it's a strange one, eh?
They're bringing out a new camera now. It's been announced, it hasn't been released yet, and they've actually announced we're not going mirrorless.
Yeah. Well, I suppose they've got a corner of the market there, haven't they? Because everybody else is panicking to go mirrorless, and if they're saying, no, we're not going to bother.
Well, they're not going to bother because the majority of the people, a big chunk of their market is people who've been using their lenses for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
And they want to keep using those lenses they've been using since the 60s.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I mean, what is mirrorless? I mean, it's just a screen that just, you know, if you've got, you know, a reflex camera, your prism just flips up and you've got mirrorless there, really, to some extent. These cameras now, you know, to maintain the digital SLR market and innovating the digital SLR market, you can give people the option of how they want to shoot. I mean, if I'm shooting handheld, I've got the option of feeling it with my eye, looking through the OVF and feeling it and seeing, you know, the pentaprism, you know, the real life feeling behind it all. And, you know, there's many reasons behind Pentax. And look, I've just stuck with them, and I've used other cameras when I've been out in field that, you know, other guys are using, and I just don't feel comfortable with them. And I actually don't like their RAW files.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you get kind of used to a look of a camera as well, I suppose. As opposed to when you get used to the look of the RAW files, certainly.
Yeah, it's not just that. Look, I could probably bring up some photos for you and show you some images that are pure RAW files, and I've done nothing to them. I might have just opened up the shadows a little bit because I tend to usually underexpose so I don't burn my highlights.
Yeah.
And I haven't done anything else to them and just left them at that because the RAW files that come out of these cameras are insane. It's weird that they haven't got that big chunk of the market. I don't understand why, but it doesn't bother me. I'm getting what I want to get out of these cameras, and I'm happy to stick with them.
Well, definitely. I think a lot of it is just down to, you say, just branding and marketing, and they don't really market themselves, do they?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
maybe they don't have to.
Well, if you know that you've got, I mean, I was reading some data recently. In 2010, something around, I think it was 22 million digital SLRs sold worldwide.
Right.
Okay. In 2019, it was 2.5 million.
Yeah.
It's 90% drop off.
Yeah. It's scary, isn't it?
It is. And Pentax have a constant percentage of that market that hasn't changed in 10 years. So maybe they're happy to contain that constant market doing what they're doing. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. Workshops then. You run workshops. Mainly Patagonia?
Patagonia, and I do a few local ones around Italy, mainly Tuscany.
Right. Yeah. Future plans to do more?
Well, all mine got cancelled, mate, due to the COVID.
As a lot of us did, yeah.
As you know, like I work full time, so I don't have that much time to spend, you know, away from home. I have a family. I've got 2 children, and I don't want to neglect them.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm happy to. It's not about making money. It's actually just about being out of field with people. I actually love being around people and love being together with other photographers, and to actually, if I can do that by giving you know, the people the option of coming on a workshop with me and learning something off me, I think that's fantastic. And for me, it's, you know, Patagonia once per year. I go there in their autumn once per year. We spend 13, 14 days in Patagonia. I come home. I've been away from home for 2 weeks. I come home and then, get thrown at me,
Yeah. Have the children. They're all yours.
Yeah. Then I've just got a few local ones that I do yearly. I've got some German photographers that come down to Tuscany every year, and we do workshops in Tuscany, which is only 2 hours up the road for me. So to organise to go away for a weekend is quite easy, and I know the place really well. So
yeah.
For me, I'm happy with doing those, and it's a shame I can't do more. But life is life, and
yeah,
it's not all about photography.
Well, not all of it. No,
we wish it would be, but
yeah, definitely.
Cheers anyway, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah. What are you drinking again?
It's St. Lucian rum.
Never heard of it, mate.
No, it's from the
was it
US.
On special, was it?
From the US Virgin Islands. It's pretty strong stuff.
Jeez.
Squinting at the screen.
Yeah.
Well, mate, it's been great chatting with you.
Thanks, buddy.
And where can people find out more information about you?
Oh, any social media thing. Yeah. I actually hate to say the name Instagram, but yeah, I am on Instagram.
Yeah.
There's probably like 27 Matt Bishops out there. Just find the one with the least amount of followers, and that'll be me. All over Facebook. I have quite a bit good success on Facebook for some reason. I don't know why. I post something on Facebook, it goes mental. I don't understand how that's possible, and it doesn't on Instagram. But anyway, I've got a YouTube channel, but I just kind of use that to document every now and then something I'm doing, because I think it's nice if people want to follow you that they can see what you're doing out on field every now and then. But I don't put that much of an effort into it. I probably should, because it's nice, but
yeah, it's good. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I must.
Yeah, well, you do a bloody good job of it, mate. So keep doing it. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what I'll do is I'll place all those links down in the description below, so people can get hold of you. It's been a great chat, mate. Thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks, mate.
Take care.
Speak to you soon. See you, buddy. Bye.